My role has changed over time. I'm probably the only member of the Plus 50 team that has participated in this project from the very first day, and participated in the design of the program as well as the instruction of the students. My instructional role is teaching computers, Microsoft Office products, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Access, as well as QuickBooks and a few other topics. Also, one of my roles is to constantly be asking students what it is they need, what it is they'd like to see, and coming back to the administrative group for the program and making suggestions, many of which get implemented as we continue to fine-tune the program. Describing our Plus 50 program, I think it's good to explore a little bit what we decided to have as design parameters for the Plus 50 program, and that included consideration of where the students are coming from, what their potential educational backgrounds are, certainly looking at age-related issues, understanding that most of our students are going to be coming back from employment situations that may have bruised them a little bit in the recent past, lacking confidence, a lot of them perhaps not having any technical skills whatsoever, and most importantly, many of them are going to be people that have not had a very positive experience with the educational system in the past. So, when we rolled all those factors into the design of the program, what we decided was that we needed to have a program that met the needs of those students, whereas a typical campus program appears to meet more the needs of the individual instructing it. Forgive me for saying so. So we built in flexibility, we built in self-assessment, we built in setting your own goals, setting your own path through the program. Nothing punitive at all in the program. We assume that the students coming back are adult learners. We assume they come from a lot of different places and have been out of school for a while. And all those led us to design a program that was extremely user-friendly. A lot of the success of the program is just because the students feel so good coming into it and so good leaving it because they've really accomplished their own learning objectives. It's pretty exciting. The way our program is built is we have a number of classes a student can sign up for, whether it's computer classes or social networking classes, business math, business English. There's a whole bunch of classes. What they all have in common is that we do pre-assessments and post-assessments, and we measure success in two ways. One measure of success is achieving post-class results that meet some sort of industry standard. The other measure of success is achieving some level of growth in that subject matter that the student is comfortable with. So we have a lot of students who are never going to be spreadsheet gurus, but if they go from never having touched a spreadsheet to being somewhat functional with a spreadsheet, that's a wonderful accomplishment. So a lot of the design of the program was based on industry standards, because we want these people to go out and get a job, but was also built with the idea that we want our students to become lifelong learners, and therefore we want them to feel good about what they can accomplish. And You know, we've had people in that have absolutely no computer skills whatsoever and leave knowing the Microsoft Office products inside and out. And on the other side of the extreme, some that come in and they'll spend 3 months with us and finally come to the realization that they're simply never going to be extremely proficient with you know, one technology or another. Well, we have staff people that do an intake for every student, and they help the students decide on the classes. And one of the wonderful things about this process is that it's not written in stone. A student may come in and sign up for a bunch of classes and then get a week into it and realize, gee, there's no way I can get all that done. So they'll go back and restructure what their learning objectives are with our staff people and come up with something that might be a little bit more realistic, or maybe just change the order of classes. We also have a full-time counselor available to us who can work with the students on personal matters as well as educational issues, and she's just wonderful. The students love her to death, and she is always available. We can schedule appointments using our network here, and our students just show up at her office and she's there to help them out. All of us on the staff work as mentors and let's say cheerleaders for our students. We form really close relationships with them, and it's just wonderful to participate in their lives and see them becoming more proficient, particularly in things I teach, which are technology. We have virtually everything that's available to any student is available to our plus 50 students. We have counselors, we have registration people, we have financial aid people if they decide to go on to school. We have instructors, we have an employment office, you name it. One of the things that's really neat about our program is our students are eligible to buy software at the bookstore, so they can go over and get a copy of Microsoft Office for $70 or something. It's very reasonably priced, and a lot of them do that just because it is one of those advantages they have as a student. We do have a pretty good record of students becoming employed. In fact, I lost 3 students last week. They all got jobs, darn it. But that's the goal. You know, we want them to become employed. We want them to be competitive in the market. So that's a pretty exciting thing. The other type of success story that I like to talk about are the students who come in scared to death, lacking confidence, haven't been to school in 20, 30 years or more, maybe not knowing anything about technology, and by the time we get done with them, they are feeling real comfortable with technology. And it's not just the business-related applications that we work on here. We actually have this program called the Toy Room, where we have an iPod, we have a GPS unit, we have flash drives, we have external hard drives, and we have curriculum written up. Oh, we do Skype too. We have curriculum written up where the students can borrow this stuff, the equipment, and learn on their own, how does a GPS unit work? How do I, for instance, do text messaging on my telephone? We have a social networking class where they learn to use Facebook. It's not that we want them to be an expert. What we really want is for them to be conversant in technology and be able to work in a multi-generational workplace and not be viewed as a relic, an antique. And surprisingly, most of our students, once they get a taste of the technology and realize that it isn't all that scary, become extremely proficient with it. I do this all the time. One of the things that we expect is that everybody is a salesperson. I am a very social person, belong to a number of organizations around town, and constantly talk about this program. And what I typically focus on is that it is a low-stress, very inviting environment for the adult learner to come back and learn some fairly technical skills. I find that the number one fear that the older adult has is the fear of appearing to be a failure. They have lots of anxiety about that. They also have a fear of people not respecting them for their accomplishments this far in their life. So we are real careful to treat everybody with a lot of respect, and that's one of the things that we all emphasize to our students is this is a respectful place where you are encouraged to be a lifelong learner, and we all have our own path, and just because one person's better at something than another person doesn't mean that anybody's a failure. That's just the way life is. We get referrals from AARP, Department of Vocational Rehabilitation, WorkSource, other social service agencies. We're getting a few from the Veterans Administration. And in all these cases, it's primarily because we are out there talking about our program. You can print up all sorts of material and send it out, and it won't get looked at just because there's so many other things that come through that channel. But if you can get people out to talk about the program will sell itself. I'm not sure where we're going to go with this. We are going to definitely continue it. What we are focusing on right now is making the material more accessible through other channels. One of the design parameters has always been what we call anytime, any place, anyone. So all of our curriculum that is developed with the idea that as time goes by, it will be available through a number of channels. For instance, we use a lot of video training. We record videos, we subscribe to videos on the internet, which allows people to progress at their own pace. We have large print material. We have computers with dual monitors so that people that struggle with reading material can have it very large on one monitor and then actually do the work on another monitor. More of that sort of thing. Also looking at what are the programs that we need to offer that are very marketable. We've got a few things in the works that we're talking about. All of that, of course, is a matter of time and money, but there certainly is a demand for it. One of the things we're talking about right now is offering a night component, 4 hours, 4 nights a week, and bringing in another part-time instructor and being able to offer the same classes, or many of the same classes, in a nighttime environment, because some of our students, the people that would like to be students, are working during the day, maybe underemployed during the day, and the only time they have available is in the evening. So that is something that we're talking about. Not sure when or if that's going to happen for sure, but it's certainly something that we should be considering. There's a huge need for this. I think the biggest obstacle is in the design phase. One of the things that I've noticed is that whenever we come up with a new program, we take existing classes and existing instructors and say, how can we package this to offer this other program? And what that means is same old stuff presented in a different way. With the Plus 50 program, because of the educational needs of these students and their personal life experiences that they already have, we sort of have to throw out the old way of doing things and say, how can we design a program that actually appeals to these people without making them feel like they've taken a big step backwards to high school or some sort of educational environment where they don't feel respected as adults. There's a huge market for Plus 50 classes, Plus 50 skills, but in talking to a lot of my students, one of the reasons they don't go further is that they don't feel comfortable, for instance, signing up for a traditional credit class because they're going to be sort of boxed into a particular way of getting through the program, and somebody else's standards about what they should be learning, where most of my students come in pretty much knowing what they need to know, and they can be self-managers to a large extent with some guidance. So nationwide, could it grow? Absolutely, it could grow very nicely, and these students make great employees. I see that with the ones that come back and talk to me about the job that they've managed to get. They're great employees. All of them say that their success is due to the coursework they did here and the uplifting environment that we immerse them in, so that they could feel valued and respected, because these are people that have vast life experience, and they deserve to be respected. I hope the program continues. It's wonderful. It's a great way of teaching. I've taught all the way from kindergarten through college-age classes, and this is by far the most rewarding group that I've worked with. And they are all avid, anxious learners. They want to get ahead in life, and even the absolute most insecure, anxiety-filled plus 50 student that we get is a success in this program, and we really enjoy seeing the progress that they make.